A lot of free-to-play MMOs from the early 2010s are completely forgotten today, but Neverwinter is still on the menu. Over the years, tons of free-to-play MMOs launched, peaked, and quietly disappeared again. So, what made Neverwinter unique, and why is it still here in 2026? Let's start right at the beginning. The most important aspect of Neverwinter's success might be the console support of the game. It went to consoles in 2015 and 2016 for Xbox One and PS4. And on consoles, Neverwinter didn't just launch, it really filled a vacuum. The only other MMO on consoles during that time was The Elder Scrolls Online. Another major aspect where Neverwinter stood out in 2013 was the combat system. Neverwinter's combat system brought a level of action rarely seen in MMOs at that time. Guild Wars 2 introduced a similar action-packed combat system 1 year before, but action combat was still very rare. But there is one major aspect that really made the game unique: the Foundry. It basically allowed players to create user-generated quests and stories, which was, and still is, a very unique feature that no other MMO I know has ever attempted. Do you remember the Foundry, or did you start the game too late, just like me? On this channel I cover forgotten and older free-to-play MMOs, and in the case of Neverwinter, I was actually quite late to the party. I only started in 2025. But why and when did the Foundry disappear? Let's take a look at the changes of Neverwinter over the years. Neverwinter continued to evolve with regular expansion modules, adding new storylines and other content while staying free to play until today. But over the years, many systems got majorly changed and streamlined. After one of these changes, returning players suddenly lost years of progression, basically overnight. And in the process of streamlining, something very fundamental of the game was lost. The drop of the Foundry in 2019 really took away a core element of the game. And for some players, the Foundry wasn't optional content. It was the major reason why they logged in. If you played Neverwinter back in the day, I want to hear it. What made you quit, or what made you stay until today? In 2026, Neverwinter isn't trying to compete with modern MMO giants like World of Warcraft. And that's exactly why it still works. The game is really excellent at casual friendly, fast-paced content. Leveling is quick, systems are streamlined, and you don't need to treat it like a second job if you play it casually. If you are looking for a very low commitment MMO, then Neverwinter could be the one for you. So it may never be the biggest MMO, but it proved that Dungeons & Dragons really works online, just as DDO did years before. And even though many players vanished and moved on to other games, iconic features like the Foundry will not be forgotten, even though they are not part of the game anymore. So after all these years, Neverwinter will keep charming hundreds of high fantasy nerds like us.